and we're going to go. Broadcasting from the beautiful Hill Country in Texas, this is OneRadioNetwork.com. Well, very pleasant good morning to you. Running just a little bit late. Santos Panachi was in the green room, but he's not green. He's looking good, and we're going to meet him in just a second. It's 19 October 2021. This is Patrick Timpone, OneRadioNetwork.com. We are on most every morning, usually take Thursdays off, and we talk to people around the world about all kinds of things, health and wealth and well-being and the nature of things, trying to get to the truth of what is and what isn't. And as Mark Twain said a long, long time ago that we've talked about here, is it's not what we don't know that's a problem, it's what we know for sure that just ain't so. What we know for sure that just ain't so. If you'd like to be on this show this morning, you can do it two ways. Patrick at OneRadioNetwork.com, Patrick at OneRadioNetwork.com, or try the toll-free number, 888-663-6386. When it comes to talking about things that we know to be true and just ain't so, Santos Panachi is a good person to talk to. He's down in Cancun. He has been studying what he calls syncretism, and it shows how all the ancient legendary stories, myths, and Bibles, fairy tales have all one simple common origin. And we had him on the show, I guess about a month and a half ago. You loved it. We talked a great deal about the idea that we're on an immovable, non-spinning around the sun Earth, and he talks about that, and we'll have lots to talk about this morning. Mr. Panachi, very pleasant good morning to you. How are you, sir?
Pretty good, brother. As good as can be.
Yeah, you've been going through a few things down there. Well, life on whatever this Earth is, I mean, we always have it going on different things. Nice to have. Thanks so much for being on the show. Really appreciate your time. Really, really appreciate it. So we should always assume when you do talk show things, Santos, that people don't have any idea of some of the things that we're going to be talking about. Would you mind just laying out pretty simply your research, what it shows, what the shape of this Earth is and what it is, and what's the relationship to what we call space? Just start there, and then we're going to get into the lost history today. I want to talk a lot about that because it's pretty fascinating. But just about the cosmology that you believe and know it to be in your heart.
Well, I mean, the term flat Earth is getting around, and quite a bit, and people misunderstand what it is because they've been given all sorts of ludicrous, crazy models about a pizza disc flying around in space, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose you would say I'm a stationary flat earther, but it's very important that I stipulate that my model is the model that every single culture in history up until 500 years ago was using, and that is a stationary plane, and it's immovable. The Earth does not fly at 650 million miles an hour. No material in the universe could protect it from burning up flying at that speed.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? If people sincerely believe they're living on a moving Earth, and according to Copernicus, there are four motions. There's a rotation of 1,045 mile an hour. There's an orbit of 66,600 mile an hour. Then there's the sun is going around the Milky Way galaxy at 550,000 mile an hour. And then there's the ultimate motion of our Milky Way galaxy traveling around the center of the central point of the universe.
Yes, sir.
Million miles an hour. That's Mach 870. So if we're traveling at, it makes more sense that we're stationary. The Earth does feel stationary. It feels dead still. And there's no reason why we shouldn't trust our senses. The stillness that you feel when you are meditating on this beautiful stationary Earth, it's not imaginary. It's real. The Earth is in fact stationary. And scientific experiments have proven that. All scientific experiments that have been conducted for the last 200 years, I can cite tens of them. Einstein said himself that he confirmed that there are no optical experiments that have ever been conducted that can actually prove the movement of the Earth. So he was honest enough to say that before he died. And even though he said, but the Earth is moving, after he said that, of course, well, he has to say that, doesn't he? Because that's what he believes. But if there are no optical experiments, then there are no other kind of experiments, or that pretty much encompasses all experiments. The fact that you can't do a scientific experiment confirming that the Earth is moving is very, very telling, and very significant for people who believe the Earth is moving, because they don't have any experiments to back it up. The only speed that has ever been detected by any experiment is 15 degrees an hour of movement. So the other three movements were not detected. Michelson Morley did an experiment in the early 1900s. They made an interferometer, which is an instrument that can measure the speed of movement of the Earth or anything. And the only speed, as I said, that they detected was 15 degrees every hour. So Globies concluded that that's the Earth. But in so doing, they shoot themselves in the feet, because if they're claiming that proves that the Earth's rotating at 15 degrees an hour, well, why did the interferometer not detect the 33 kilometers a second of orbit? And then the other one, and then the other movement, which are both 550,000 miles an hour and 650 million miles an hour, respectively. Why were those other three movements not detected? The only thing that any experiment can detect is 15 degrees per hour of rotation.
Let me ask you that. When you say 15 degrees per hour rotation, if you're saying we're on an immovable, more of a plane surface, what's moving, Santos, at 15 degrees?
The ether.
Oh, the ether around it?
Yeah. You see, when you look outside and everything's daylight and you can see objects, what the light is in the ether. You can't see the ether. It's just like you can't see the radio signal coming to your radio, but it's in the ether. It's in the air. It's similar to the air, but it's only a more attenuated or a more transcendent element. There are 5 elements, so we know them. We know 4. We're taught to believe that there's plasma, gas, liquid, and solid, which in philosophical terms is fire, air, water, and earth.
Yes.
But once upon a time, it was known that there was such a thing called ether.
Yes.
So that's why we have five fingers. This is earth, this is water, this is air, this is fire, which is plasma, and the thumb is the ether. That's why you always give a thumbs up when everything is good, because it's the quintessence. So Einstein removed the ether. In his special theory of relativity in 1905, he excluded gravity. Then Michelson-Morley did their interferometer test. I'm sorry, I'm very, very itchy. I get this.
It's okay. Itch away.
Occasion.
That's okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to have to
itch.
Deal with it.
It's all right.
So it comes and goes, but it's something that I've had for 10 years, and I believe it's frequencies.
Yeah.
So
that's all right.
It's embarrassing for me. Usually when I get on a show, it doesn't happen because I do get a break.
Don't worry about it. You're among friends here. Don't worry about it. Was Einstein the fellow? Didn't he create the idea of gravity, the theory of gravity? Einstein?
No, that was new. So what happened was Michelson-Morley did the interferometer test and proved that the ether is turning. So then in 1915, 10 years after his special relativity, he comes out with the general relativity, Einstein, and in there he added gravity, which was not in the 10 years previous. It excluded Newton's theory of gravity. So then he went from the special relativity to general relativity because of Michelson-Morley's test, and it was famous all around the world. They confirmed that the Earth is stationary, and so the Jesuits pushed him to come out with a false theory called general relativity, and he added gravity and removed the ether. So I wouldn't say that it was all of Einstein that did that, but I would say it was his Jesuit buddies who actually started the global PSYOP agenda in 1542. It's so sad that most Globies just don't know their history. The moving Earth has never, ever existed prior to Copernicus. Some try to tell you that Pythagoras and Aristotle were saying that the Earth moved, but they did not. They only said that the planets move around the sun, and that they did not include the Earth in that. Prior to Copernicus, the Earth never moved to anybody, to any culture. Nor the Mayans here, they still tell me that the Earth is stationary. So, you know, if people want to laugh at me for being a stationary flat earther, they can laugh all they like, but they're laughing at the Mayans as well. They're laughing at the Chinese, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Babylonians, the Persians, the Aztecs, the Incas, and I can name many, many more. So they don't know their history. They don't realize it was only up until Copernicus 460 years ago, or 480 years ago, in 1542, that he devoted his book to a Jesuit pope called Pope Paul III, Alessandro Farnese, founder of the Jesuits. And he started what's called the Copernican Revolution. Interesting. You go to Wikipedia and put Copernican Revolution, and then go to Wikipedia and put Pope Paul III. And you'll see in the third paragraph where it says Copernicus dedicated his book to Pope Paul III, founder of the Jesuits. And ever since then, they've been pushing the global agenda, global community, global religion, global governance, global economy, global lockdowns, etc., etc. And it's just a psyop.
Which today the Pope is still, Green New Deal guy and, global man-made global warming, the Pope today. And is the Jesuits are kind of the mafia of the Catholic Church? They're kind of the enforcers.
They are a mafia. Yeah, they are the enforcers. They are the military arm of the Vatican.
Yeah,
and they call all the shots. The Black Pope actually works with the White Pope and gets their orders from the Grey Pope, which is Pepe Orsini. And they work together to give the world a psyop called the Copernican Revolution. And people are convinced by it. And it's funny that they laugh at flat earthers and think,
sure, yeah.
They say, "Oh, you guys, you're so fanatically religious. It's like a religion." No, it's not. Pseudoscience is the religion. You've been deceived by pseudoscience, and you religiously think that you're upside down and moving at 650 million miles an hour, which is absolutely ridiculous. A sod of dirt flying that fast, which is 870,000 Mach, is just entirely ludicrous and impossible. It just can't happen. And when they show you pictures of the Earth from outer space, see this blue ball from thousands of miles away, what do you see anything that's actually, like a wall of some kind of alloy, metal, which is actually protecting it from 870,000 times the speed of sound flying through space? You don't see anything. You just see a sod of dirt wrapped in beautiful soft water called oceans, and that's also surrounded by a beautiful soft atmosphere of oxygen and nitrogen, and butterflies are flying around in the atmosphere, and birds, and balloons filled with helium to defy gravity, but steamships or cargo ships going to Australia upside down, they get stuck. They get sucked up, but the butterflies flying around the ship, because they don't know anything about gravity, they get to cheat gravity, and the steam coming from the ship, it doesn't know anything about gravity, so it's amazing how steam can go up, but the oceans in Australia, they got no chance of escaping. They have to obey gravity. But the steam and the vapors and the evaporation, they get a break. They just say, hey, listen, we're going to cop out with this Newtonian theory. We don't know anything about him, so we're just going to go up and defy gravity.
And so gravity doesn't exist. It's just a theory.
Gravity exists. It's the opposite of levity.
Mm-hmm.
What is grave means it is heavy.
Heavy, grave.
Right. So basically, something that if you levitate, right, you are actually doing what is the opposite to gravitate. Mm-hmm. When you gravitate towards someone, yes, so in that sense, gravity exists, but not for explaining anything to do with the Earth. It cannot explain anything at all to do with the Earth. There are only two co-eternal principles, and they are gravitation and radiation. Radiation is right-turning redshift energy, and gravitation is left-turning blue shift energy, and that's how all torus fields work. Oh. So the Earth is a stationary plane T, and at the North Pole is where blue shift comes in, and then at the center of the Earth, redshift goes below, and that's what they call the. I think they call it the Van Allen belt or the radiation belt that's protecting the Earth. Right. So they've got a few things right, but it's just the shape of the Earth. It's not a globe. It's a plane.
We're talking with Santos Panachi. I've got some emails already. If you'd like to get in and ask some questions, One Radio. It's Patrick at oneradionetwork.com. So this idea that you can go up into some place called space and experience anti-gravity, that's not true. Then these are all, they must be films. Like, what's his name? The Star Trek guy went up there and they showed him floating around. That was all Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, that's all done. That's all done. They've already been exposed. There's lots of videos exposing them. You know, when you see the photos of the two of them together, Bezos with Captain Kirk or whatever his name is, you will see that all the creases in their uniform are exactly the same. They've actually photoshopped their uniform, and they didn't even bother to change the creasings. You see the exact same crease here, at the bottom, at the side. It's the same outfit that they're both wearing the same outfit. What's the chances if you and I put on our Giorgio Armani suits out and all night long we have the same position and crease and everything? I mean, there's no chance. There's not a chance in the world that photo you see of them together would have the same creases, and you can tell it's clearly photoshopped.
So there's already been people out there, Santos, that have been proving that the whole Captain Kirk thing, or whatever his name is, a week ago, that they made such a big deal out, it was just fake. The whole thing was fake. Because you can't, there's no anti-gravity spot. It doesn't exist, right?
No. What they do is it's all trickery. It's all in green rooms. They do it with cords and
green screen and Photoshop stuff and CGI, whatever, all that stuff.
And then that CGI. You know, it's easy. It's easy how they do it, and they're exposed. The other way they do it is they get in these and they just take a real quick dive downward, and they defy gravity, so they start floating, but it's only like for about 30 seconds long. Then they stitch all these scenes together, and if you look hard enough, you can see on the internet, you know, how they do it. With all their tricks.
Do they actually shoot rockets up in the air, and how far did they go? Do we know?
No rocket has ever gone past 98 miles an hour because at Polaris, that's the highest point of the firmament.
Or 98 miles. 98 miles. They claim that Captain Kirk wants 60 miles. Do you think that's true? Possible?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they could have gone. Yeah, you can go up there. You can go up to 60 miles an hour. For sure. 60 miles high, easy. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying, and others have said, that the Earth then has this dome kind of a thing called a firmament, which many of the ancient texts talk about, including, of course, the Bible. That this firmament, do we know what it's made out of? And you say it's about 100. For conversation, about 100 miles up. Do we know what it's made out of?
It's made of transcendental materials, probably elements similar to the Earth, but of a different frequency. You know, there's probably carbon, probably cobalt, copper oxide. There's, throughout history and through my researches, I've few clues. The Libyan desert glass gives you an indication that glass that they've found, they have no explanation for it, and that's blue. It's probably like some sort of a soft glass / metallic element, which we don't know.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Are the
But I would
stars
say,
are the stars and the planet and everything that we see out there, they obviously then are under the firmament.
no, they're in the firmament. The stars are holes in the firmament. They're just wormholes.
They're
And
holes. Hmm.
yeah, they're holes. That's what the word holy means.
Huh.
Because anything that is holy, it comes from a hole in counter space. See, that's how atoms work. In the center of every atom is a hyperbola, and the center of the hyperbola is actually what the atom is. It's and that's a hole. That's why it's called holy. And so the stars are just holes in the firmament.
So we're just seeing light that's outside the firmament?
Yes, light from another source which comes through the firmament. Yes.
Whoa. So the light must be God stuff, right? The light of God, maybe? Or spirit?
Well, it's the central sun.
I'm sorry?
It's the central sun of the universe.
The central sun. So there's another sun out there. That's the light that looks like stars?
Yeah, it's the sun behind the sun. And
Whoa.
that's what the Mithraeans, the Zoroastrians, and the Babylonians taught, that there is a sun behind the sun. So somehow, outside of our solar cell, we live in a torus field Earth.
Uh-huh.
So it's a sphere, and the Earth is dissecting it in the center.
Uh-huh.
And the dome is the top part, and then there's the bottom underneath as well. But it's just a massive torus field. And the hyperbola is in the center. It's called Mount Meru. It's a magnetic mountain. That's why all magnets point to the north. And then the Earth is a bumandala. It's just a flat plane inside of that torus field. And possibly the Earth extends further beyond the limits of Antarctica, which is the limits of our local torus field. That's what the Mayans taught. The Mayans taught that it's an infinite plane. It has no end. So when you go to the ancients and you read books, you get to understand and learn this. People who follow the Copernican revolution, they don't read books. They don't read, and they don't see that every single culture of history taught this.
How did the people long, long ago, without all this fancy computers and who knows what, Santos, how did they know? Was it a spiritual kind of a thing? They just kind of knew how it worked? How do you think they knew?
Well, they had more consciousness and they had more truth prevail. They did their experiment. They did their testing. Truth is not allowed to prevail. There's such a thing as censoring. We think that censoring is new. Kicked off Facebook for 30 days because you told something to the past. Well, there's been book burnings in the past. There's been the libraries have been burnt. When they came to the Americas, they destroyed every library of the Mayans and Aztecs, and because they destroyed all their books and burned them. Why? Because they've got something to hide. They want people to swallow the globe psyop, and they want people to be globalists. And we know who our enemies are. We call them the globalists.
Globalists, right. To this day, we call them the globalists. So what was the initial motive back 450 years ago, to bring out this globe idea with the Catholic Church thing and the Jesuits, just to keep us in the dark and not to believe that we're spiritual beings, kind of thing?
Well, yeah. So they are prohibiting us from to Antarctica and taking voyages there. Say, oh no, they don't. You can fly to Antarctica. Well, it's only one designated spot. If you try to hop on a boat and go toward Antarctica, you'll be stopped by the military. I've seen videos where military ships have come close to fishermen and telling them, get out of here or we'll blast you out of the water. I can show you
Yes, sir. We've seen
I can
videos.
send that video to any one of your listeners who doesn't believe me. I can send you videos of this. And so, why? Because they're doing such a good job protecting, the known lands that we have, from oil spills and pollution, that they don't want us to go to Antarctica and take a walk there and disturb the snow and piss on the ice, and perhaps, someone might shoot a penguin and eat it, if they're hungry. They want that. Every loving government, really, really does care about nature and protecting it, don't they?
Yes,
so obviously they've got something way, way, way bigger to hide, because should we go beyond Antarctica, as did Sir Captain George Hubert Wilkins and Admiral Byrd, you will discover other lands with other peoples, highly populated, highly civilized and advanced.
There's just no telling if you, like Admiral Byrd talked, I think we saw the video in 1950, before, that's when I think they started NASA, right? And he said there's something going on way out there, a lot of land, probably as much as the United States. But are you saying then that the early people kind of knew this, and there could be, Earth could be infinite, there just could be almost forever land, right? With all kinds of peoples and cultures, we don't know what's out there.
Well, it is. That's the Mayans taught that. So
Really?
if anyone's thinking that they'll take a laugh at me, well, then you're actually laughing at the best pyramid builders that ever existed, the Mayans. So sure, go ahead and laugh at me and them, in their face, and their ancestors, and see if you'll get away with it. You won't get away with it, because they're way more intelligent than any Globie.
Any Globie. So there's just no telling what's out there. Is that when, after Admiral Byrd went on television, which I've seen the film and we've streamed it, did that precipitate NASA being formed? Was that part of the deal?
Yeah, NASA's all about hiding the truth about the Earth. Yeah,
right.
They admit it. I've got a video with about 10 to 15 documents from NASA showing that they know it's a flat, stationary Earth.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a video. You've got, if you go to my channel, go and have a look at Traveling the Cosmos with Sasha Stone, David Sarita, Dr. Brooks Agnew and Dan Winter. It's called Geocentrism with Sasha Stone, Dr. Brooks Agnew, and you will see those documents.
Okay. And what's your channel's address?
Mr. Astrotheology.
Mr. Astrotheology. Mr. Astrotheology. Santos, we're going to do a little break, promote a few products. We're cutting out just a little bit. There's nobody else on your internet connection now downloading a movie or anything? Everybody's cool? We're doing the best we can? Okay. All right. Oh, that's okay. Well, it's just not bad. Every now and then we're getting some blips at it, but that's okay. Stay right there, sir, and we're gonna do this. I'm drinking more water because I really need it. I said, I need some more water. Well, I never had that thirst mechanism working as much.
Right. Most modern people have lost a lot of the thirst.
The thirst mechanism thing. Didn't Batman Gelich talk about that, where you get so dehydrated that your body just gives up? Is it the OR and all the stuff with the hydrogen bubbled water? It's really hydrating our cells more? I mean, that's the way it works?
Well, sure. So hydrogen therapy, what it's doing is it's bringing down oxidative stress by combining the hydrogen, molecular hydrogen combines with free radicals, and what does it do to them? Turns them to water. So that's hydrating, meaning you're taking something that's kind of damaging and turning it to water, which is hydrating.
You're turning it into water, which hydrates you. Boy, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty brilliant. Indeed. How many people are on our show talking about how important to be hydrated? I mean, it's like huge. This could be really a nice thing for you. I love my machine. It's the AquaCure machine. You can click an order, use promo code OneRadio, 10% discount. Yeah, well, just forget that, Patrick, because we have a special deal of 20% right now for the next, 11 days? 20% on the Brown's Gas Hydrogen AquaCure machine. This is the real deal. This is a beautiful thing. George has got some very exciting and well thought out safety features on it. You might find a Brown's Gas. Well, not too many Brown's Gas, because Brown's Gas is a step up from just molecular hydrogen. But this is Brown's Gas, and you'll find some other molecular hydrogen machines out there, maybe even half the price. But you don't know who's building them. Most of them, almost all of them, that George knows, do not have any safety features. Hydrogen's a very powerful molecule. We'll talk to Santos about it. Santos says the sun is really hydrogen. I wonder if both suns are. We're going to ask him. But this is 20% off right now, the molecular hydrogen Brown's Gas machine. 20% off. Use promo code OneRadio20, OneRadio20 for the next 11 days. Now's a good time to get it. There's a lifetime warranty, a 1 year, no questions asked, money back guarantee. After 1 year, up to 1 year, if you don't want it, just send it back and George will give you your money back. So it's a great time to get it. Very seldom do we offer the 20%. Promo code OneRadio20, the AquaCure Hydrogen Brown's Gas machine on sale right now. Previously, Dr. Richard Massey talks about colostrum.
When you get certain vaccines, you get leaky gut from it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, we're all born with leaky gut, big holes in our gut, but there's no poop in there because we haven't been eating in the womb, right? And so nature's vaccination program is to get mama's colostrum, which has all the immune factors in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the gut is wide open. It's got leaks in it, so this colostrum can come through like an injection. When it does, the leaky gut closes.
So that's why the colostrum we take helps seal the gut.
It seals the leaky gut. But people who are vaccinated tend to have chronic leaky gut because the gut is waiting for the real thing. So people's guts are open like, hey, when is the real stuff coming in?
Can the cow stuff do it?
The cow stuff does it as well.
Oh, it does.
So you put those immune factors in with colostrum before eating meals. It goes in. It's nature's vaccination program. It closes the leaky gut. Then your autoimmune stuff goes down. Your food allergies go down. Wonderful stuff happens.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. And we have this on sale too. Wow, we got a little sale day. The colostrum and the digestive bitters are on sale. Use promo code TREAT20 for the Halloween thing, 20% off. That's a good one. And you'll get the digestive bitters as well as the colostrum on sale on One Radio Network. Use treat, something like that, TREAT20 on our website. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
From the Hill Country in Texas, this is OneRadioNetwork.com.
And Mr. Santos Panachi is with us. He is interesting chap, as you can hear. We're going to talk about the lost history. He's down in Mexico way, and his website is the, let's see, I got your website here. I got it right here. It is universalschooltruth.com, right? universalschooltruth.com?
No, Universal Truth School.
Oh, Truth School. No, I've got it right. Yeah, sorry, I didn't read it properly. universaltruthschool.com. Let's take a few of the emails. We have some basic things, Santos, about the cosmology. Mr. Silver wants to know, how far does your guest say the sun and the moon are from Earth? The sun and the moon.
Well, that's like how those are just projections. They're not there. If you go and try and find a rainbow.
Oh, that's okay. You can't share your screen on our software. So they're just projections. Explain what you mean by that, sir.
Well, the sun is projected from the central sun at the North Pole, the magnetic mountain, and it's a 24-hour clock, and it projects the sun around as it goes over the Earth into the atmosphere. So the sun will appear to you to be over there, but to someone else, it will be also in the atmosphere, but it will be
over there.
projected. It will be projected from their point of view. You can triangulate the sun and get a distance to it. You can't do that. There's no way of doing that because it evades those physical laws because it's not physical. It's
wow. It's just a projection. So, in other words, if you could fly up there, I mean, on some magic spaceship, which you can't, but say you could, and you got next to it, it's not like you would see this physical thing called the sun. It's just not there.
Well, no, but it's like a ghost. A ghost is there, but it's not there.
I see. Yeah.
Wow. So you see it, but it physically it's not there. It appears. The sun is an apparition.
Amazing.
And it's a very convenient one. It's a field perturbator. It perturbates the ether and generates light locally as it turns over the Earth. So it's like a condensed rainbow. It's white light, so it's condensed, compressed, and it appears as a circular object, a disc. The Egyptians called the flying disc.
Fascinating.
So just like the rainbow comes and goes, the sun comes and goes in a similar fashion.
And the moon, similar, same thing?
Yeah, except the moon is dielectric, the sun is magnetic. The sun is an anode, the moon is a cathode.
An anode and a cathode. Whoa.
Yeah.
So the moon, obviously you can't land on it. So we know that. Okay.
You can go to the moon, but not with a flesh body. You can astral travel to the moon, but it's not going to be a physical object. It will be a plane. It will be a trans-dimensional plane, and you can go to that trans-dimensional plane.
Sure.
It's probably 5D or something like that, but you can go there. You go there in your mind, which is your body.
Right. Your mind body is one. Yeah.
So
yeah. It's just so the moon is actually in another reality, astral, mental, causal, or as you say, fifth, the soul plane. It's just as not physical reality. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great when you understand this because then it all makes sense.
Very magical.
You can tell that the music, the moon and the sun are in our atmosphere. You can clearly see that. If you didn't that, well, that's fine. But one day when it becomes official, when all the liars go down, the same who are behind all the lockdowns and everything like that, once they go down, then there's only going to be the one result from that, and we'll know exactly where we live, and that we're on a stationary plane. We have an atmosphere, and all of the planets, the wandering stars, are inside of that atmosphere, and you cannot leave. As the astronauts now are admitting, you cannot leave Earth orbit. You can't do that.
So let me see. You said wandering stars. I thought I heard you say, Santos, that the stars are actually holes in the firmament with the light, but there are some wandering stars and planets within our atmosphere under the firmament.
Well, yeah. When we call Jupiter a planet, it's not a planet. It's a wandering star.
But it's under the firmament, and it does move around us. So that's why astrology is valid.
Well, of course, yeah, because those 7 wandering stars, including the moon and the sun, they make 7 concentric realms and principalities and spheres inside the atmosphere under the firmament. The firmament is the 8th sphere. That's, you'll hear people talking about thermosphere, stratosphere. Well, what they're actually talking about is the fields generated by the wandering stars, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Moon, and Sun.
Whoa. And these bad boys or good boys, they're circulating around us, right? Around us.
Clockwise, over the Earth.
Over the Earth.
Yeah, and it's easy. It's very, very easy to come to that conclusion. If we've been flying throughout history at 650 million miles every hour, that displacement of the Earth should cause space between some of the stars are way away than some that are closer, and yet you parallax in 450,000 / astronomical history.
Wait a minute, you're starting to cut out a lot. Let me see if I can lower the bandwidth, and you're starting to break up. So repeat what you just said, because you broke up pretty badly.
So if we're being 650 million miles an hour, there should be parallax in some of those stars. Never been for 150,000 years of history.
Well, we're having a problem with this with your bandwidth there. Well, we'll just press on, because maybe get Divine Spirit to help us out with a little more juice from you. With Santos Panachi, let's take a few emails here. Here is I watched the Convex Earth video that Patrick streamed. You know, the one with the scientists where they measured all that? Did you see that one, Santos, in Brazil? They were trying to prove the shape of the Earth, that one. And they did expansive to determine that the Earth has no measurable curvature. How do you know all that wasn't faked? Oh. I don't know. Seemed like a reasonable video to me.
I saw that. Yeah, there's some. They still, again, dealing with people who don't read books, and I suggest you read, some of these ancient cosmologies, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bible. The Bible repeatedly tells you that God made the earth firm, fixed, and immovable, and it shall never be made to totter, even till time's indefinite. So Psalms 19, verse 4 and verse 14, and many other Psalms in the Bible, and Genesis, in fact, on the second day of creation, it says that God created the firmament. So there's plenty. If you read the Bible,
right,
that'll do it. You know, I've read it so many times.
To this emailer, I mean, you could look at that video, and these guys weren't faking that thing. It took them years to do this thing. They were traveling all over the world, and why would they go through such a thing? Some of those were globalists before they started the experiment. Did you see?
Yeah,
they were, and they changed their mind. So, okay. Yeah.
They're intelligent.
Yeah. Is Earth standing on its end like the edge of a dime? How else could we see the Earth's eclipse appear as a circle on the face of the moon? Yeah, that whole eclipse thing, people ask about that. How does that work? when we see the eclipse of the sun?
You see these very unintelligent Globies who make a pizza, cause pizza in their graphics to fly in front of the moon and say, ha, this is, how does a flat come to the moon? Well, the fact is, Earth is never, ever between the sun and the moon, because all month long the moon is being eclipsed. That's why you have quarter moon, gibbous moon, balsamic moon. What's eclipsing it? It's Earth, because there's the sun and there's the moon in the sky, and if we're down here and you can see the moon over there, I mean, it's logical. It's not the Earth. And besides, isn't the Earth 4 times the moon? How can the Earth's shadow be exactly the same as the moon's when it's eclipsing the moon and it's 4 times bigger?
It couldn't happen. Not even logical. Huh?
Well, it's still they shoot themselves in the feet all the time with their erroneous pseudoscience conclusions. It's obvious that if there's an eclipse of the moon and the sun is above the horizon and so is the moon, well then that's not the Earth going in between the sun and the moon, because they're both above the horizon. So again, it's all about unthinking followers of pseudoscience.
And what is the causing of the different shapes of the moon we see if it's just a projection? What's causing those half moons and all of that? I don't quite understand that.
Well, this is a body in the heavens which is causing that part of the moon not to illuminate, because it's a luminous body. Mm-hmm. That's obvious. I mean, the moon disappears for 60 hours every month at the new moon. How can it disappear? And then when you see the new moon and you see the 7% crescent,
yes, sir,
of the moon, why is it that you can see a crescent like this and all of this is blue? You should see a silhouette. You should see a rock. You should see a rock going past the sun at the new moon every month. But what you do see is nothing. You see nothing going in front of the sun for 60 hours. Well, that just shows you that it's the sun's light overpowers the moon's light and it disappears. There's no way that the sun could make a rock flying in space disappear for 60 hours every single month of history.
No way. It seems, here's an email, seems like there's a lot of news around the CERN and its capabilities, but it all went silent in 2019 after the COVID thing. Is it possible, in your opinion, that the two are connected?
Say again, you broke up.
Okay. It seems that there are a lot of news and media around CERN and its capabilities, but all went silent when COVID came out. Are the two connected? Is it possible they turned it off and on and broke, and we all shifted timelines or dimensions? Don't quite understand the question.
Yeah. I think CERN is just the technology that they allow conventional humans to know about. They have advanced Tartarian technology, which they've been using as time machines for thousands of years, and they just go back and insert a different script every time, one that suits them. And so, till we get control of that technology and stop these parasites from screwing around with our timelines, we will never, have any peace on Earth, and we'll never know the exact truth of all things.
Kevin also writes, the Mayan calendar had the world ending at 2012. It seems to me that we all began waking up around 2013. Could that also be connected? Did the spell end in 2012?
I think so. I think a shift happened, a relative shift, which they then jumped in and co-opted. But that timeline still exists. It's just that we have to get access to it. That'll happen soon. The evil ones have only got minutes left. They're right at the end. They're about to be exposed. They're about to be totally and utterly destroyed.
It feels like it, doesn't it, Santos? I mean, everything, I just feel like they're losing control, and these guys are just going to just implode upon themselves because it's getting so absurd. I mean, nobody believes half this stuff, any of this stuff anymore that they're saying, the government. Nobody believes them.
No, they're doing it to themselves. They're actually making it easy for people to wake up. I think they're doing it. You know, they actually did support the flat Earth, the return of the truth of the flat Earth, and they also pushed it themselves. You know, because they really, really are desperate, in a way, strangely enough, to wake people up. You know, for instance, they'll lie about certain protocols, and you'll see Fauci, for instance, saying, "Oh, there's no reason why you should be wearing a mask," and then the next minute he's saying, "You should wear two." And so, why are they doing this? You know, why are they contradicting themselves? Well, because they want people to start thinking and listening. Really? Yeah, they do.
So you don't think they're all bad dudes? You don't think they're all just bad dudes that want to just kill us all and everything?
Yeah, they do. They're bad dudes, and they do want to kill us all. But they also want people to wake up as well. You know, it's part of how everything works. They have to disclose what they're going to do to people.
Otherwise, that's that whole idea.
Otherwise, it won't have any effect.
That's why they put things in the movies and tell you everything what's going to happen in 9/11, all that stuff. It's some kind of thing that has to do with their secret handshake organizations and Freemasons and all those things. They have this idea that they need to tell us what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
It's called.
What is that called?
It's called. Not disclosure, it's called forget the word right now, but it has to do with getting people's tacit consent by telling them that you're going to do something and allowing a certain period of time to transpire after the disclosure, and if people don't catch them and stop them, then they will go ahead and actually fulfill that spell.
Some kind of a weird psychological op thing that they get into, right, with their secret handshake places. Yeah. That's weird. Here's an email that says, my father flew F-100s when he was in the Air Force, and I wish he was still with us. I do recall he mentioned sometimes when he was flying to Hawaii at 30,000 feet, and he told me that he never saw a curvature in the Earth. Thanks for having him on your show. There's just not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course. And then there's pilots who say they see curvature all the time. Well, what they're seeing is, remember, your eyes are spherical, so everything, your vision is the limit of your vision will always be round. It will always, so when you're looking out at the ocean, you will see it curve back. It curves back around. So it's flat because you can put a level on it and you can see it's flat, but you'll see a curve. It's like my computer's on a round table right now, right? Well, if I get down low enough, like this, right? So that's my table. If I get down low enough, I will see that it's flat, but I will see it curve around over here, and it curves around, right? So that's what they think is actually spherical curvature, but it's not. It's two-dimensional curvature. So how you can prove that is quite easily. You fly up to 45,000 feet, and you look out your left window, and you see that the horizon comes up to your eye level, and then you look out the right window, and you'll see that the horizon comes up to your eye level in the middle of the window. So how can you look, you're 45,000 feet high, how can you look to the left and see the Earth way up there, and to the right and see the Earth way up there at your eye level if it's supposed to be curving downward, right? You shouldn't be able to see it at all.
You wouldn't
at
see it at all, would you?
You shouldn't be able to see anything in your window, except if you look down, you should be able to see a ball, and you can't. You can't see a ball. You'll see some curvature, but it's optical curvature. It's not real curvature, it's optical.
Here's an email from Olivia. She says, what is the path of the sun and the moon if the Earth is flat? How come it's noon right now at my place in Europe? My Australian friends are in the afternoon, and it's morning in Texas.
Yeah, well, again, because the sun is local. It's not 93 million miles away. It's probably only like 60 to 100 miles up in the atmosphere, and its light shines down like a torch locally. So when it's on this half of the Earth, it's daytime, and then as it goes around over there, it's daytime over there, and you're left in the dark over here. So this is easy to confirm as well. I've been in a plane. I was flying from Melbourne to from Perth to Melbourne, west to east, and the sun was setting in the back of it, and it was daylight, and everything was pitch black.
Yes.
I was in Timbuktu before Flat Earther, and everybody in the aeroplane was just gasping with amazement, and they just couldn't believe it. Everything in front of the plane was just black. And then you look behind and you see the sun just about to set, and it's all daylight behind you. So I saw the delineator. I've seen where the sun's light stops and where darkness begins. I've flown through it.
You know, the videos, of course, we've seen a lot of them where instead of the Earth moving towards the east and the sun coming up, it's actually just coming into our view, right? Because we can see it. You know, that whole idea. I was out this morning and the sun was just coming up, and I like to do some yoga or Tai Chi or something early in the morning, and I really looked at it carefully, and you could actually see how that's where it is. It's coming into view, and it's not, you know what I mean? It's not coming up above the horizon. You could actually see it with your naked eye if you look close enough. Once you get it, right? Once you understand it. It's really interesting.
Yeah. If you use your intelligence and pay attention, you'll work it out.
And plus, Santos, I mean, I'm standing there, and there's nothing moving. Come on. There just isn't. I mean, you look at, you're just not moving. How could the Earth be spinning at 10,000 miles an hour and I not feel it? I mean, you could just do that and you wouldn't need any videos and just think about it, right? Wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, the spin of the Earth is not 10,000. It's 1,000 miles an hour.
1,000. Sorry, 1,000. That's what NASA says, right? Yeah.
1,000 miles an hour. And the orbit is 66,600 miles an hour around the sun.
Right.
So this is the thing. No experiment in history has picked up that second speed of the orbit. That's 33 kilometers a second. So Michelson-Morley, Michelson-Gale, Sagnac, George Airy, James Bradley, Pierluigi Ghina, Guglielmo Marconi, none of these guys, none of them were able to pick up any orbit of the Earth. All they picked up is 15 degrees an hour of movement.
And isn't it interesting? The number is 66666. I mean, these guys are clever, right? They just, this kind of want to just shove your face into it, right? Just kind of, okay, here, take that 666. Sure.
It's a pretty smooth ride when you think about it. Traveling at 650 million miles an hour, it's really pretty smooth.
Yeah, I
feel like the Earth is dead still when I go for a walk on the beach every morning. I feel like it's
it is.
Still.
I mean, you don't know it is. Yeah. Okay, here's a good one for you from Kathleen. Where is the edge of the world? Where is the edge of the world? And what does the world map look like? I've just checked that there are regular flights from Tokyo to Toronto and from Melbourne to Los Angeles. You check with people who drive airplanes and boats around the world asking for their maps? I'm not sure that second part, but where's the edge of the world? She wants to know.
Antarctica. It's 60,000 kilometers, a ring which is 60,000 miles, actually. Miles in
around 60,000 miles around.
67,000 miles.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen the videos of the huge ice walls, right? We've seen those. They're out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then, so explain to people, so what Byrd and other people have said, that you have the ice walls, and then you have 200 or 300 miles of ice, and then that's where the rest of the Earth is on the other side. And you explain, then that's where we can't go because of the UN treaties and all of the military down there. Is that correct? They don't want you going over there.
Yep. Yeah. Yep, that's right. In 1958, Encyclopedia Americana tells us that they went to Antarctica and found that the dome or the firmament was only 13,000 feet high over there.
Over where?
Antarctica.
13,000?
13,000 feet high at Antarctica. The dome is 13,000 feet high. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia Americana.
Yeah. Oh, that's a encyclopedia. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and if anyone wants that, wants proof of that, I can send it to them. Just email me.
Is there some kind of huge magnetic rock down at the bottom there at the center? A black rock?
Well, it's interesting. If the Earth had a molten core of iron, first of all, anything that is hotter than, I think, 1,000 degrees Celsius or something like that loses its magnetism. So if we have a molten core in this sod of dirt that's flying at 650 million miles an hour, you would feel a little bit of a wobble and a little bit of a, bit of shaking from time to time. No tidal waves, no tsunamis, no hurricanes all year long, and no, just butterflies and steam going up, defying gravity.
Yeah, I understand. Can you explain, we got a lot of questions about satellites, Hubble, and the space station. Can you explain, do these things even exist?
No. What they do is they go up in, they probably go up in vessels to about...
Balloons?
Yeah, possibly balloons, or possibly some other anti-gravity devices that they have, and they probably just float up there and take pictures. But the funny thing is, they never actually take cameras to show you the photos of the Earth, any footage. The astronauts go up there and then they come back and they go, "Oh, we saw the curvature, we saw it. Well, did you? You could have made history. You you'd be really handy to humanity right now who are questioning the shape of the Earth. It'd be very handy if you bought a camera, but rather than toilet paper and toothbrush and hairbrush and little toys, play with toys up there and oh yeah, we can see the Earth. There it is. It's a ball. Yeah. Oh yeah, we can see that. Well, the thing is,
no pictures.
just like in the movies, it's all fantasy. They're just
pictures.
liars. They're all Freemasons and they're all liars, sworn to defend that lie.
So folks like Elon Musk, who are going to put up all these satellites for the internet, many people conjecture that they're just helium balloons. But so he must be just a globalist actor, right, Elon Musk? I mean,
yeah, of course. That's how he gets to be in the position he is. You have to be a liar.
Yeah, they just give him so much money to play his role.
Yeah, you have to be a deceiver to be there. They're all deceivers.
So there's no satellites because there's no Earth to circle. So any satellites would be some kind of a levitation, like you say, balloons or some kind of thing that NASA has they just hang up there.
There are satellites. There's definitely satellites up there. I think they use hydrogel.
Helium?
No. Hydro.
That's all right.
There is a substance that actually defies gravity and floats up. I think perhaps they're sending crafts up there and attaching them somehow to the firmament. Yeah, they probably found a way to attach these satellites and whatever telescopes onto that. But they do have them. Most of the satellites are satelloons. They just go up by balloons. But I think they're more sophisticated than that. I think they do actually attach stuff to the firmament as it goes around.
Well, they have a budget of, as you know, $30 billion a year. There's a lot to play with there. $30 billion a year, NASA in this country.
Yeah, but they can't buy a camera to put on their rockets to show us.
Yeah. And what about Hubble? Why couldn't you just, if you wanted to prove the Earth is round, couldn't you just turn Hubble around and just do a live feed of this round Earth from space?
Well, of course, but they won't do that because they're liars.
It's just so interesting just to think about, Santos, an organization that has been lying about the moon thing since 1969. How could you believe anything that they say? How can you believe that? Yeah.
I know.
How can you believe anything?
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't believe anything at all that they say. They're just out and out liars. So we just have to live with that for now until they will, and then we will actually have the real truth.
Here's an email. What does Santos think about Eratosthenes, Eratosthenes, famous ancient mathematician who measured the size of the Earth?
Well, rest assured that a lot of these people of history are made-up characters. The Jesuits control all the libraries, they control all the information, and rest assured that this one, they would have put some ancient Greek genius or Roman or Babylonian, they would have inserted that into the script just to, well, for a start, why is it only one guy in history that supposedly measured the circumference of the Earth? Why didn't Plato agree with that guy? Why didn't Aristotle? Why didn't the Romans officially, accept it until Copernicus? Why wasn't it accepted then? Why wasn't the flat Earth debunked in Eratosthenes' time, because it's all a lie.
So I'm hearing you saying they're just like they're doing today with the Musk and the Bezos and the Zuckerbergs of the world, and pay them to do whatever. They did the same thing 1,000 years ago or 2,000. Who knows?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they insert these people in history. We don't even know whether they're real or not. No one knows.
Yeah. Here's an email for you. There's a term called Sol Niger, Niger, or the black sun in alchemy, since according to the official science that the Earth revolves around the sun in an ellipse path, the sun is one focal point, and the black sun should be the empty focal point. What is your thoughts on this idea?
Yeah, the black sun, that would be at Mount Meru. Yeah, so I'm sure that it has a lot to do with, eclipses and the sun appearing, etc., for sure.
We've seen some videos that appear to be real, that they're showing the moon and these different things flying across it. Have you seen those? Some kind of craft or something? And people are saying that's an argument for satellites circling the Earth.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's it's probably some of their craft that they're playing with, just to get people intrigued.
Right. Yeah. Here's an email. So Earth leaves a round shadow on the moon during the eclipse, so the disk of the Earth is standing on its end, and all the planets are disks standing on their end?
Well, they're perfectly circular, which is quite unusual for them to be perfectly circular. But when you look at Venus and Jupiter with a telescope, you can see that they're just some kind of luminous,
light,
shaky bodies. They're angelic, luminous bodies, and that's why astrology works. It's because they have their frequency, and they are dispersing that frequency through the atmosphere and causing all the changes. All the conditions, mood swings. We all know that the moon creates moon swings. So why shouldn't Jupiter?
And your
sun
work
does.
And your work gives more credibility to astrology because they are really. It feels like they're living beings, souls like we are.
Yeah.
My mom used to say we had 7 kids, Santos, and 7 children, Italian family, right? Catholic. And she said when they went to the hospital that the nurses would always say, "Well, there's a full moon coming. We're going to be busy in the birthing." The nurses knew it. They nurses knew it. The kids they would come out at the full moon, right?
Yeah, right. And then they deny astrology at the same time, but they're actually the best astrologers because they always point out that it's the moon. Right. So, thank you.
We're with Santos Panachi, Patrick Timpone, OneRadioNetwork.com. We have about 3,500 podcast audio from the last 12 years and all kinds of things. Come by our website, look at them. All of our videos are on BitChute, Patrick Timpone, BitChute. Here's an email. Love the show. I've been getting into the whole space hoax thing. I'm curious what your guest thinks really happened regarding the Challenger explosion. Sounds like they just murdered those people, or were they actors?
Actors.
So you don't think people blew up?
Well, they did kill some astronauts who were going to expose them on, I think it was the Apollo 13 or one of those where they all died. So they did murder. They murder them. They kill them. But in this case, it was all set up as just actors.
Yeah. Here's one for you, Santos. Why do countries we think of as south of the equator have a seasons opposite to countries north of the equator?
Well, because as the sun approaches the Tropic of Cancer, the people in the so-called northern hemisphere, this is the southern hemisphere, this is the northern hemisphere, the equator is here. So when the sun's in June, July, the sun is over here, Australia is over there, and it's winter. But when it gets to the Tropic of Capricorn, it goes out to here, and then these guys get cold, and these guys warm up. So it's just the sun as it goes from Cancer to Capricorn, Cancer to Capricorn. It goes closer to the center, closer to Antarctica, closer to the center, closer to Antarctica. And it just keeps doing that year in, year out. It's simple.
That makes sense, right? Michelle writes, she's in Kentucky. How would you explain the tides?
The tides are, because the ether is turning over the Earth, it's electromagnetic and water is paramagnetic. So everything is moved by the Earth. And so the oceans correspondingly, water is part of magnetism. All the elements are magnetic. So, they all, it's like a breath. The sun goes up the Tropic of Cancer and goes down to the Tropic of Capricorn. And it keeps going up and down. As it says in Srimad Bhagavatam, the sun goes up a ramp to Cancer, goes down the ramp to Capricorn. And even in globe theory, they tell you clearly, they tell you that the sun is 5 million miles closer to the Earth at Capricorn, when it's in Capricorn, than when it's in Cancer. So on January the 4th, you have what's called perihelion day, which is the day the sun is closest to the Earth. And it's supposedly 5 million miles closer to the Earth than when it's in Cancer. Well, if large bodies cause gravity, you would think that the Earth would be sucked into the sun if it's 5 million miles closer. I remember my science teacher in school saying, it's just, even in church. In church they said, isn't it amazing how God placed the Earth at the exact right distance from the sun so that it wouldn't get sucked into the sun and so it wouldn't fly away from the sun. He just put it amazingly, just stuck it right at that point where it doesn't get sucked in. Well, hang on a minute. The Copernicans, the Globies, are telling you that there is 5 million miles of difference between the distance of the sun as it goes from Capricorn to Cancer. Well, why don't we get sucked in when the sun's in Capricorn in January? Why doesn't the Earth just get sucked into, or why doesn't it just fly off when we're in Cancer? It just makes no sense. And, the orbit of the Earth supposedly is elliptical. Well, it is, if the sun's distance is variable. And the moon going around the Earth is also elliptical. There's 30,000 miles of differential, and supposedly it's causing the tides. And it's when it's close to the Earth, why doesn't it get sucked into the Earth? And when it's 30,000 miles further away, why doesn't it drift? And when there's an eclipse, how come every single time the sun and the moon are exactly the same size year in, year out, and yet we're dealing with two elliptical orbits, the Earth around the sun and the moon around the Earth. And the eclipses are happening at any different part of that orbit, and yet they're always the same size. Come on. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Checkmate.
Checkmate. Come on. I love your logic. It's just great. It's just so fun having you, talking to you. Would you please ask Santos about Hebrews ancient Israelites, from his perspective, what is their role in our history? Are they the chosen people? Is it possible that the Paleo-Hebrew is God's language of revelations?
Every language is God's language, but there's only truly one language. It's the language of etymology, and I teach that in my presentations.
Entomology. That's to be how words, what the words really mean, huh?
Yeah.
There's another one. So is Hubble, from Jeremy, does Hubble exist? Is there a Hubble telescope flying around the Earth?
I guess so. It's probably stuck in the firmament somehow. They've attached it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's just no telling the technology that these people have at $30 billion a year, right? They probably got a lot of stuff that we just don't know, right? We know they manipulate weather and all kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the deal. Did you see the recent video that the vice president, the alleged vice president of the alleged United States made from NASA? Did you see that one?
No.
No, it wasn't from NASA. It was actually from the observatory where she lives, the Naval Observatory, and they had the fellow there, the head dude at the Naval, and he said that the sun moved around the Earth. He actually
Who said that?
Yeah, he said that. It's great, man.
Who was that?
He was some head dude at the Naval Observatory where the vice president lives, and they're talking a lot about how we really need to go far out there. That's where all the the information is. That's where the wisdom is. We got to keep going further to know what the truth of the world is. So it's just opposite of what the truth is, right? Just the opposite.
Yeah.
And Rand Paul has even mentioned flat Earth about 3 times. He was interviewing this fellow about the COVID hoax, and he was kind of mocking this guy because this guy was calling all the people who didn't believe in vaccines flat earthers. So the whole thing is getting out there. It's just amazing. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, it's getting out.
Yeah. Well, Santos, thanks for being here. So you're going to do, after your move, I want to have you back. We didn't even get into what we were going to talk about, the lost history. I'd like to get you back on in a few weeks when you get back settled. You're so fun to talk to. I could just talk to you for hours and ask all kinds of questions, and we get into the lost history. We didn't even do that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Well, nonetheless, what I want to point out is people have been watching me scratch my face.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
And yeah, I know it's all right, but I just want to get this out. This is very important for me.
Okay.
I've been tortured with this itch for about 10, 12 years, ever since at my YouTube channel. Okay, but usually I cancel when I'm like this. And today I decided, I knew I was going to be itching. I knew that, and I knew it would look ridiculous, me doing this every 3 minutes. But I've never, ever put the video camera on me to show people the torture that I go through.
Oh.
Okay. So a lot of people ask, sometimes, why are you angry and why are you, unpleasant and everything like that. You've just watched me mildly itching all through this interview.
God love
it. So I'm going to use this video. Usually I have to cancel many.
You just cancel them. If you got the itch going, you just don't do it. Yeah, you just don't do it.
Yeah, because I don't want to look like I'm fidgety and itching, but I mean, I could just sit there and just do this all day long. In fact, once I get off the camera, I'll be sitting here. I won't have enough hands to scratch all the itches. So yeah, whatever it is, I've been doing many protocols to try and stop it. I've done MMS, I've done hydrogen peroxide, I've done Tesla coils.
Interesting. God love you.
Everything. And it persists. So there's the evidence. You've just seen me. Here it is.
Here it is.
And that's what I go through.
Well, I appreciate that you said that and told us. Yeah. Wow.
But
never been able to get to the root cause of it, obviously. Huh? Never.
Well, it's 5G and heavy metal poisoning and graphene oxide in the vaccines and in the air and in the food, and it's a combination of things. But I'm very sensitive, so you've seen it with your own eyes, and all of the audience. So I'm happy because this will be the first time. I mean, you do see me itching a little bit in other videos, but it was nothing like today. So there you go, folks. You know
the real Santos itching.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you're going through that. If there's anything I could ever do to help you figure that out, and I have a lot of resources, but I'm sure you'll find it someday. Figure it out and not do that anymore. And all right, brother. Well, you have a nice day, and we'll contact you again, and we'll get after you get resettled to your new spot, and we'll get. And when you get to the new spot, get as much bandwidth as you can. Right, just as much as you can. Up and down, up and down. Yeah, up and down. Santos Panachi, thank you. Appreciate your work. Thank you for being here with all your itches. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Take care, brother. Much love.
Much love to you, too. Thank you. May the blessings be. Santos Panachi, God love him. He went through it. He could have canceled, but no, he didn't. I don't know. Well, we will, let's see. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And we're going to be here. We have lots to talk about. And then at noon tomorrow, we have the fellow from the dollarcollapse.com. The dollarcollapse.com. His name is John. Last name is escaping me. But he's a really interesting fellow. And he's going to be on here. Let's see if I can find his name real quick. Santos is fun, right? Man. Poor guy. Going through all that. Scratching. Well, broadcast schedule. Oh, my website is not doing much of anything. Oh, here it is. Yeah. John Rubino, that's it. John Rubino. He is a head guy at dollarcollapse.com. But I'll be on tomorrow at 10 o'clock, which we always, if we don't have a guest at 10, it's just me, and there's plenty to talk about. Lots of things in the news. Things are moving. And I agree with Santos, and I really see that these people, whoever they are, Doug and Mel, the boys, the cabal, this whole gang of these rascals, it's falling apart. Folks, it's coming apart everywhere. There are all kinds of unions and masses of people that are not doing these vaccine mandates. They just don't want to do it. There's Texas is not only have an executive order by Governor Abbott saying that the vaccine mandates can't do them. Nobody, no way, no how, no vaccine passports. But now the Senate and the House of Representatives in the state of Texas, they're going to be passing a law saying the same thing. I think that's also going on in Florida. So, people are not going to be able to do it. There's just a law. Move somewhere else if you want to do it. So if you'd like to come to a good spot, move to Texas. Plenty of room. It's a big state. All we got to do is figure out how to find some more water. We know that the water is underground. There's all kinds of water under there. And or go to Florida. some other good states, Tennessee, Oklahoma, the Dakotas. And what we think, for what it's worth, is what's going to really be happening, and we see it more and more people talking about it, and we think that this whole country is just going to split up. States like Texas and Florida and all the rest will secede from the Union, and we're just going to have our own country, and we'll have our own elections. It'll be fair and free. Who knows? We might have our own digital currency. We'll trade with the other states, but you can't tell us what to do. They can't tell us what to do now because of the 10th Amendment, but this will be a clean break. Because in my opinion, for what it's worth, I don't think there's going to be a judicial or a political solution to these people who are controlling Biden, the globalists. They'll never let, my opinion, they're never going to let President Trump win in 2024. If he would run in the United States as we know it, it's not going to happen. They're not going to let him. Oh, they'll let him run, but he won't win. Come on, they control the voting. So I don't even think he'll run at this point. He's really talking about having all of his followers. He has about 100 million not to even participate in the elections because I think he's beginning to see that the whole thing is so swampy. The FDA, these people aren't going to change. I don't think we should even deal with them. I don't think they're going to be able to arrest anybody. We get all kinds of emails. Oh, they arrested this person, Hillary Clinton. They arrested him. They didn't arrest anybody. The courts are swampy. We have maybe half the military, maybe half the military are friendlies, and the other half let them stay with the old United States and let them put all these weird people up there like Joe Biden, and you guys just kill yourself and whatever you want to do. Just keep printing dollars, and nobody will want them. The whole thing will just implode. It'll be just like Rome, 5, 6, 7, 800 years ago. It'll just implode, and we'll just have our own country, our own people who believe in freedom and believe in total freedom, and we'll be nice to each other, and we won't fight with each other, and we'll just have a good time. And I think that's what's going to happen. I feel it in my bones, and there's no reason to try to change these people because they're not going to change. They're not going to wake up and all of a sudden say, oh, yeah, well, this whole vaccine, I'm not going to do it. They're just not. They're lizard, globalist, lunatic, psychopath, I don't know what, and they're controlling it all, and, the whole Davos crowd, and they're controlling everything, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do. And so for us to try to change them or to fight them, I'm not fighting them. So, and if they don't do it, I'm just going to be in my own other reality anyway. For Patrick, I don't care what they do. And it's not part of my reality. Just live in my own reality in Dripping Springs if it doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Okay. We'll talk tomorrow about this tomorrow. Let me know if I can do something. We didn't do a lot of commercials during Santos because he's so much fun. But if you'd like to spend a little bit of your dollars or for whatever they're worth on some products, we have some of the best ones ever on One Radio Network. The hydrogen machine, Brown's gas, is on sale. Promo code OneRadio20, and the colostrum is on sale for Treat 20 promo code. So if you'd like to get those products, now's a good time to do it. So I love you all very much. Thank you. I will see you tomorrow. May the blessings be. Have a good day.
Broadcasting from the beautiful Hill Country in Texas, this is OneRadioNetwork.com.